Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Legally Armed America. I'm, of course, Paul Glasgow. And guess what, guys? I've identified another shooter. Now, this is not groundbreaking news, but I've received a picture of another sniper from a totally different location than what we're aware of at the Trump assassination attempt. And I'm going to show you where he was, even though they're not telling us where he was. First, guys, please go check out my friends Gideon Optics. These guys make amazing optics. If you're looking for something that you can either put on a pistol or an AR-15 or any kind, heck, if you want a rifle and reach out there, go to Gideon Optics. GideonOptics.com. They have amazing stuff. If you use my discount code FTATF, you guys know the discount code FTATF, you'll get 10% off. Again, go to GideonOptics.com. FTATF, receive 10% off. And guys, look, check them out. They got a whole line of stuff out there, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed, and I know you're going to like the price. Friends, I have a brand new sniper nest, if you want to call it that. You know that we had talked before about how there were two spots behind Trump where there were snipers. Now, granted, unofficially, now we're finding out that there were a group of snipers in the window behind where Crooks was supposed to be. If you guys will remember, before that news came out, I had a guest on here last week, and we said, before anybody else talked about it, that that window was open. Then they told us that after saying that nobody was there and nobody was in the building, then they came out and said, yeah, we had a sniper team in there. So now come to find out, instead of the sniper team just being in the building, we were right about the window. They were literally in that window that we pointed out. So unofficially, we have a sniper team there. We have two guys positioned behind Trump, and now we have a fourth position. Look at this shot right here, man. You see, this is something I pulled off the internet. This is not some covert stuff, but it's not being talked about. And I was like, you know what? We're sitting here talking to Christopher Wray of the FBI, who's in charge of the investigation. We've already talked to the former Secret Service director, who's gone now. And everybody keeps saying the same thing. Crooks fired 8 shots. Now, we'll get into the semantics of that later on, because they're choosing their words very carefully. But they're saying Crooks fired those first 8 shots, and then they're saying, according to Wray's testimony today, that one sniper fired 1 shot. So that's a total of 9 shots. Well, first of all, I'm not buying the 8 shots from Crooks. I'm sorry. Somebody has to prove that to me. I think between Mike Adams with Brighteon, I think Chris Martin's in his name, and myself, I think we've proven that there's firearms that are being used that are at different distances. There's likely different calibers. So there's got to be different shooters. There's no way, first of all, that Crooks fired with more than one weapon, and we know he was only in one position. So my thing is, if we know that these guys are not telling us the truth and they're sticking to their story of 8 rounds, we know there were 10 fired, right? The 10th round is the one that they're calling the 9th round. It was fired, get this, guys, I don't know if many people have talked about this, from that first round that was shot that they claim was Crooks shooting. From the time that first trigger was pulled till the time that that Secret Service agent allegedly shot that 10th shot, again, they're calling it the 9th shot, 16 seconds. 16 seconds passed. And from the time of our last shot, allegedly from Crooks, there was a 10-second delay before that sniper supposedly took Crooks out. Now, the whole reason why this is interesting to me, in order to identify this additional sniper nest, again, I'm using kind of hokey language here, but the additional sniper location, besides the one behind Crooks, that's unofficial, besides the 2 behind Trump, there's another one. This is important to me because if we have unaccounted for shots that the FBI and the Secret Service are not paying attention to, then I think we need to know where that came from. First of all, I don't buy that all the first 8 shots came from Crooks anyway, so I think that makes all these guys that had firearms in play. Now, I do believe that shot number 10 was from the Secret Service agent, at least one of them behind Trump, mainly because of some of the math that's been done out there to show things. Plus, it does sound like it came from a suppressed firearm, right? But it's important that we know where every gun was, every loaded weapon, on that property that was ready to go. Because if we have unaccounted for shots, it would be easy to dismiss if they line up with just the guns that we know about and we ignore the ones that still might be out there. Then it would be easy to say, well, no shots came from that. If we dismiss certain shots, the fact that we have one missing shot means that we have a location also that's not accounted for. That could be where it came from. Now, I don't have the measurements of how far away that shot would be, but I do want to show you where there potentially could have been another shot, but there most definitely was somebody with a loaded firearm aiming in the direction of Trump and Crooks. So if you look at what I'm looking at here, we obviously have a firearm aimed in that direction. This actually looks like it may have a carbon fiber barrel on it. Obviously it has what appears to be a laser on there that's going to, or at least an infrared, that's going to mark a spot. But you can see in front of us the white building, past that where it says police on roof, and to the far left you can see the building that Crooks was allegedly on. So I took recognizable things in this picture and I went to Google Earth, old reliable Google Earth. So looking out here, I see the things that I kind of saw in the picture, right? You got, of course, your water tower up there at the upper right hand corner. You've got the roof that Crooks was on, and then you have the white roof of the barn that one of these sniper teams was located on behind Trump. But what other things can we take from that picture? Well, we see white roof buildings all over here. One of the things that I did notice that to me stood out that might be more like a fingerprint, look in front of the shooter, directly in front of him, not the tractor, but look at the sand on the ground. Looks like a pretty good bit of sand, right? That might be a noticeable amount of sand if we look at it from high above, at least from a satellite view. Look down here, where do you see a bunch of sand? I see a lot of sand, kinda, I guess that's a horse track to the far right, but I see a bunch of it right down here in the bottom left-hand corner. Let's go back to the main picture and look and see. All right, so what's the closest thing that I see to that sand? I see that building right in front of us. Okay, I see a bunch of sand right here, and I see two buildings right in front of that sand. If I look a little bit closer, this does appear to be the building, right? Look at the doors on the far left. If you see there's a gray door on the short wall on the far left, well, there's also one here. As far as counting windows, well, we've got how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 windows with the door kind of in the center of them. I can't see all the windows because there's a white van in the way, but boy, those 3 windows to the far left, excuse me, to the right of that door certainly look like these 3 windows to the right. So if you see what I'm talking about, I think we have our building, right? So let's go to the next slide. And of course, there's the building that the Crooks shooter and supposedly the other snipers that are unofficial were in that building. If I back up where I line everything up, okay, there's everything that I saw in the picture. There's the building Crooks was on, there's the water tower, there's the white roof that was behind Trump of the barn, there's this building right in front of us. In fact, there's even a light pole over there to the left that we also saw in that picture from the snipers on post. Everything lines up according to this. If I look at the overhead map, that all draws a line directly right back to here. That's where I place the next sniper, the other sniper, the unaccounted for sniper that no one is talking about. So as you can see, everything lines up perfectly in front of us. So I'm pretty sure that that is where our additional sniper is. Now again, you guys might be asking, why does that matter? Well, it matters. Again, first of all, I think we have unaccounted for shots in the 8 that they claim that Crook shot, right? I don't believe those were all from him. I simply don't. They honestly sound like they may be from the same type of rifle. But between the muffled noise of the first 3 and then the sound of the next 5, I do believe those first 3 potentially came from inside that building because of the muffled noise and the lack of the echo that you don't hear in some of them. Now, granted, we've been listening to audio from 5 different locations so far. The official mic right in front of Trump, and then additional mics from people all over the place. So some cases you're going to get a different sound because of the different proximity of the snap boom. So obviously nothing's going to be perfect, nothing's going to line up perfectly. But there's a very distinct difference between the first 3 and the next 5. So I think we have question marks there already. So I already want to know where every single firearm on that property is. But as I stated earlier, we have shot number 9 that seems to be unaccounted for right now. And if I can get the good folks, Mike Adams over at Brighteon, and maybe his friend, gosh, I wish I could remember his name, Chris Mortensen, I believe, or Chris Mortens, something like that. And I really apologize for not getting his name right. Those are the sound pros. Those are the guys that I've been using some of their video analysis, or excuse me, audio analysis, to determine the distance of where those shots were from the location that they were fired to the location right in front of Trump or wherever the microphone was picked up. So if we have unaccounted, at least, even if it's one unaccounted for round out there, I want to know where the potential spots were that it could have come from. And this is where one of them definitely came from. Guys, please like, subscribe, share the videos, comment down below, give me your thoughts. The biggest thing is YouTube does not like truth. You guys are definitely experiencing it in the comment section. I get complaints by the minute of people and they're not even talking hate speech, but their comments are being deleted and they're being accused of posting hate speech. So you know YouTube is not a fan of my videos, for sure. They haven't been for a very long time, but certainly this type of video they're not a fan of. So they're going to do everything they can to squash my videos and this channel. So anything you do to get the reach out there, to get that signal passed on to somebody else, again, whether it's recommending the video, whether it's sharing it on your own social media, asking friends, sign up for my newsletter. My newsletter, legallyarmedamerica.com. Go there and there'll be a pop-up where you can sign up for the newsletter. Then you're also going to get a newsletter getting those more recent videos coming out every single week. And we don't hammer you. It's one email a week, right? So anything you do to extend that signal out there is a big help to me and allows me to continue to make these types of videos. I've got some cool stuff coming up that I want to be talking about very, very soon. I'm working on a trip to Pennsylvania to surveil this site properly, not with Google Maps. And if I do that, I will let you guys know. A lot of you folks have reached out to me if I do go, a lot of you folks in that area, and I appreciate that. I will certainly make an announcement if I do in fact go up there. Until then, if you have anything besides the comment section, you don't want to, some people don't want to comment in the comment section. I understand that. If you have anything to share with me, feel free to email me at paul@legallyarmedamerica.com. Again, paul@legallyarmedamerica.com. Thanks, folks.
God save the Queen, man.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America. He's so